Well, the Colts concluded their joint practice with the Green Bay Packers today. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and a key position battle that is currently seemingly under wraps, plus some disappointing news coming out of ESPN. So, if you're new here, my name is Elijah. I'm from Sports Talk Indy, where we cover all things Colts and all things Indiana sports. So the news today is seemingly it's good in one direction, bad in another. We're going to talk about the first direction that is good. The defense showed up and showed out really, really well with very few missteps. There were a couple injury scares. We'll cover those here in a moment. But the big thing is that the defense seemingly is doing well. The unit to watch that I think is going to be really, really electric this year is going to be this defensive line. I think that there has been so many upgrades over the past several seasons. It's clearly been a point of emphasis. I think that is going to be a unit that throughout this preseason, throughout the beginning of the season, throughout the rest of the season, this line is going to be the make or break point for this defense. Kenny Moore was back in practice today. He seemingly looked good until he went down once again with a knee injury. It is unclear at the moment if it is the same injury or the same knee that he went down with on Sunday, but we do know that he did leave practice, as with Josh Downs, who left practice grabbing a hamstring. Obviously, we're hoping those two key playmakers for the Indianapolis Colts, hope for them to have a speedy recovery and that everything is good. We'll update you as soon as we get more information on either of those two. One player who did not have a good practice today would be Tre'Davious Ward. See on the first play that he and new Packers wide receiver Matthew Golden faced. Tre'Davious Ward was burned from the first step. Obviously, you're hoping that maybe that Matthew Golden was just that good. It's not exactly likely that that's the only case. You hope to see from your star cornerback that you just signed a lot better of a showing, but again, it's one of those things that he could have had better looks. One area, again, that didn't have good strengths is the quarterback battle. Anthony Richardson was inconsistent, to say the least. Multiple reports said that most of his throws that were of note were wildly off target. And then Daniel Jones, with backup wide receivers, had multiple, or he went 3 for 3 in the 11 on 11s before escaping a sack, trying to throw the ball away, ended up throwing it into coverage. He was again playing with the backup wide receivers and backup offensive line, so you can likely assume that that's going to be a key factor into why it was that he may have been thrown out. And same could probably be said for Anthony Richardson. We don't know exactly at the current moment who Anthony Richardson was playing with and who Daniel Jones was playing with. We just know that Daniel Jones had the backup crew out there. I do kind of want to enter a 2 cents into that for a moment. It does seem as though, through multiple reports, through a lot of the hinting and nudging that we're getting, that the quarterback battle is going to probably be handed to Daniel Jones. Now, again, you can say what you want. I know there's going to be a lot of strong opinions on Daniel Jones being the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. But again, kind of unbiasedly, and I'll insert my biased opinion here in a second, but unbiasedly, it does seem that at the current moment that Daniel Jones currently has the edge in who is going to be the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, there's a lot to be said about that. If it is Daniel Jones, I would still expect to see some growing pains. It's a brand new system. Daniel Jones comes from the New York Giants, who are as dysfunctional as it gets. I don't know that Daniel Jones has functioned in a functioning system in the entirety of his career. Now, the same could probably be said for Anthony Richardson, and I'm not going to say that the scales for me are weighted one way or another. I think the ceiling is higher on Richardson than has ever been said for any quarterback in the history of the NFL. The floor, on the other hand, is lower than almost anyone we've seen. The problem is that Anthony Richardson is still functioning barely above the floor. Now, we've seen some of what Daniel Jones' ceiling can be. Now, I don't think that he's fully reached his full potential, but I do think that if the ceiling of Daniel Jones, or even the average of Daniel Jones, with this running back room, with this offensive line, with this tight end room, with these wide receivers, I think that he could be really, really good. And it would be something that I hope to see potentially in this offense. Again, I'm rooting for whoever gives us the best chance to win, and I'm only reporting on what we know. As of right now, it does seem that the edge is going to Daniel Jones, but that's not the position battle that I really want to talk about. Because the Colts have had, throughout the history, they've had, most recently, for those of us who are under 40, we all remember the Colts having one of the most consistent kickers, if not the best, most consistent kicker of all time in Adam Vinatieri. We saw almost 2 decades with this man behind the reins, and it was never a fear. And anything under 50, we never had to worry about where that ball was going. We knew it was going right down the center. Now, since Adam Vinatieri has retired several years ago, it has been a carousel. And I think that the Colts talk about the QB carousel. We don't talk about the kicker carousel that has been going on for almost just as long as the QB carousel. Because out of the Adam Vinatieri, we got Rodrigo Blankenship. And he looked to be really, really good. He had one full solid season, winning several honors coming out of Georgia, was very, very good. Unfortunately, that didn't last long as injuries then plagued the rest of his career. He bounced around before going to the CFL, took one tryout for the Buccaneers last year before inevitably not getting that position. We had Rigoberto Blankenship, and then we had Chase McLaughlin, who filled in when Rodrigo Blankenship. Then Chase McLaughlin filled in. He looked good. Again, wasn't super consistent, or wasn't the most inconsistent, but was a staple of consistency. From there, we went then to Matt Gay, and then now we are looking at the two guys that are going right now, which are Spencer Strader, who we liked last year. Last year he looked really, really good. And I forget his first. Oh, here it is. Maddox Trujillo. I think that there's good arguments. You probably can hear my daughter in the background. Right. There's both sides of this. I think right now it is almost decided that Spencer Strader is going to be the kicker for the Indianapolis Colts. This is going to enter in a new era for this Colts team into what they're going to be able to do. Please excuse my daughter. I promise. She's and then finally, the last thing we're going to cover today is that the ESPN Power Rankings ranked the Colts merely 27th out of 32. Again, that might just be the way that it is for this Colts team, and maybe that's accurate. I think this Colts team has one of the higher ceilings of any team outside of the big 8 teams that you know of. I think that you can tell that this Colts team might be really, really. But I also know that the floor for this Colts team is a lot like the floor for the 2022 Colts team, with Matt Ryan under center and injured Jonathan Taylor. It could be that bad. But I also think that there is a potential, if they're able to lock it down and get it all together, I think that this Colts team could be very, very electric. And dare I say, even make it deep into the playoffs potentially. But it's all got to flow together. It's going to be a culture thing that's got to come up. It's going to be everyone playing right at the right time. And it could be behind Daniel Jones. It could be behind Anthony Richardson. Could be behind Riley Leonard or Jason Bean. Who knows what it is, but I do think that the floor for this is where they're starting at right now, which is being ranked 27th out of 32 teams. We're going to cover all that. We're going to cover more. We're going to cover the upcoming preseason game against the Green Bay Packers. But for now, we'll see you on the next one.